we're gonna see what you do. And they didn't really, the Karma, okay, it worked out during the early game during them team fights, but it didn't really do that well as it, went on to the mid and late game.
It was a lot of damage at the damage charts, but did not have the impact that we've normally seen throughout the tournament.
I'll tell you what, Dagon, it was J-Team's game to lose, not Nova's game to win. I feel like Nova were allowed to win off of a couple of mistakes that were made, especially that dive, that save to the bot side to get Dawn out. And then the second one, obviously starting up Elder Dragon when they shouldn't have.
Sure, but I guess you weren't paying attention during Stuart's stats when we went through the history lesson of the WRL. Three games, three series, they ran the same thing, and they got themselves the win in 3 different series. We get into game number 2.
What was that Jax ban?
Singed. It was
what was that Camille ban?
It was...
That is interesting. What was that Camille ban?
I wrote down center twice. So
okay, that happens. Discussion going into this match was the ability for Dawn to flank. So the initiative is swapped around. This time, Dawn is no longer the one who has to check either, but rather you've swapped positions. Basically, you're swapping the draft, right? The Jace pick from Pawn, now it's going to go over to Nian. I think this is going to make for a very interesting game. If Nova take this, it might just be a fall. Sorry to say.
There's a Lucian.
There we go.
Oh, was it Lucian? Or was it
Lucian solo, maybe. But Barry could also play that with DY.
The Cork is still up. They could potentially try to go for the Cork on the opposite side. I mean, Pan has been more supportive recently, but he has been playing Lucian as well.
So I do think it's a Lucian solo. It's going to be Lucian mid into Jace, I think.
It could be that, but also, they've done it before where, Barry has been able to flex it towards the bot lane as well with Nami in the bot side, the same thing as well. So I think they've done that in the semi-final, so they have that flexibility there. I think Orianna can still play in the mid lane, but they can play in the bot lane.
There we go.
And there's the Echo. There you go. I called it.
And this is a great time to play it as well, because if you don't pick it on tree, it's going to get banned away on 4-5. So same question for me. What is Cherry going to play?
And now the great thing about Nova now is they can just keep banning out junglers. More junglers banned. We already have 4 junglers banned.
It's so brutal.
They banned the Kha'Zix now. Cherry's champion pool and Cherry's tier list is going lower.
I genuinely think we're in a world where Cherry might just have to play the Riven jungle, because there's like no picks left.
True.
Right, and you're getting a little worried too if you're on Nova's side. Where's the AP damage going to come from? Sure, Ziggs was up, but if you didn't pick it there, then that could have gotten banned away as well. You're all 1 damage composition type. So we do have a little bit of a wrinkle that Nova seemed to be prepared for, and it's going to be more junglers getting taken away from Cherry here. Get deep in the champion pool, unless it is the Riven that is getting locked in.
So Remake is a player that has only specifically played AP champions down in the bot side. Hasn't played pretty much any AD carries at all. I'm expecting a Morgana pick probably here for Remake. Yes, it maybe doesn't work too well with the comp. You can Black Shield maybe Nyan on the
it's
Jace,
fine, right? You're
or
just
maybe on the top side, or they just leave it for last pick and they
я не хочу что-то так брать, вот эту.
So this is going to be very bot side. So this is going to be the Lucian Nami lane. Again, a very aggressive lane for Bro and DY. We saw it in the first game as well. They like to play aggressive. They like to push as well. And this is also a situation where Nunu could be the one snowballing into the lane, getting the early advantages, because Nunu is a very, early game jungler. But it's the first time we see Nunu.
What is your 5P here? That's my question, because your 5P here could win you the game on the side of Nova. I feel like J-Team's draft.
I honestly think Morgana's good. I honestly think Morgana's really good.
Because they showed a Nunu. You just block
Tidal, you've got Tidal Wave, you've got Shockwave, you've got the Nunu Snowball as well.
Все, я теперь гонщик нелегальный.
Morgana is a perfect pick here.
Look, I'm going to be very real with you here, right? The Nunu just wants to snowball ganks in the early game. If he has a mid laner that gives him 0 prio into the Jace matchup, that gives Long all the time in the world to scale up. I think Nova have checkmate here.
I feel like we have a situation where it's going to be, J-Team in the early game again with the early aggression, with
чуть-чуть
the
БП,
with the Nunu as well. And again, it's just going to be Nova scaling into the ultimate.
Final thought, Raven.
I think J-Team absolutely have to, right? If they're not going to play for the exact composition they're drafted for, they're never going to get to play the game after that point anyway. This is their only chance here. It's about getting them ahead. Cherry needs to step up to the plate.
A very pointed draft here by Nova against J-Team. J-Team going deep at the champ pool with Nunu. Will it pay off? Let's find out as we send it back to the casters for game number 2.
Thanks, D-Gon. Thank you, D-Gon. And we are getting ready for game 2. And I know that the analyst desk definitely had a lot of things to say, so I want to kind of rephrase it here for both TJ and Riku looking at these two compositions here.
Yeah, for me, the J-Scene composition is one of the coolest comps I've seen in a while. If nothing else, it's original. It's about using that Nunu both as a frontline tank, but also as part of an engage cycle. You go in with the Nunu Snowball, you follow it up with Tidal Wave, you follow that up with Shockwave, with Riven Stun, any combination thereof that can start team fights and theoretically win them before the other team can press any buttons.
And this is just falls upon the usual Cherry special about the early game, having to roam, having to gank to get that early lead for the rest of the team.
Right, and they do need to get that early lead because compositions like the one J-Team are running rely on that initial engage being deadly. And over on Nova, they have tools to avoid that initial engage.
And one thing that is incredibly interesting is that we see double utility, Nami, Orianna, with a lot of healing and shielding, but it's an early game snowbally champion that they're gonna make sure that they raise. Not a Vayne, not a Kaisa,
it's about the Lucian.
It's about the Lucian early game.
And Barry and DY are doing a great job of trying to push that advantage early. They forced the exhaust out of Remake early on.
Nova need to play defense for the late game, but they do have the tools to reach it, right? This is the same thing as last game, except more explicitly, they know what they're doing. They have Galio, very good in a defensive teamfight. They have the Morgana, whose Black Shield will help them dodge those CC cycles. They have even Echo, whose ability to reset mid-fight will deny that deadly combo. It comes in, he gets dropped very low, he says, actually, let's take it again.
I know, and Yami as well, with what we talked about this TJ, with the shields and the engage that he provides, first gank of the game.
Cherry already trying to find an opportunity here to make the first gank possible. Long answers back, but he steps back into the parallel convergence. Huge stun onto Cherry, and the knockback from Neon might have sentenced Cherry down. It is first blood for Nova this time around.
Okay, I understand. I understand that you want to gank mid lane. You want to gank mid lane because Neon is super squishy. You have a lot of damage on paper as a Nunu and as Pan with a distance. But if you gank an Orianna lane at this point of the game, you have 0 damage. Versus if Long enters the fight, counter ganks you, you lose.
And they got low HP on both targets, but at the end of the day, J-Team down 2 kills during the early game on 2 of their key carries. It's going to be that much harder for Cherry to be a beefy frontline, and it's going to be that much harder for Pan to scale into his late game damage.
Yeah, imagine we're seeing already a sword on Neon's inventory. And all of that, if you kill Pan, who's left to deal the damage? Let's take a look at the replay once more. Parallel convergence at the edge of that area, gets the stun in, Neon knocks him out of the park, and then they get a double kill over here.
And you have to talk about the other side of this, which is, yeah, they did a really good job responding to the gank. I also think it was kind of stuffed by Pan. You're playing Orianna, you've got a ton of damage, but that damage was distributed evenly amongst the 2 targets whilst Cherry was dying. Pan was unable to burst down a single target and paid for it dearly.
And right now Pan is still paying for it. Like, look at Neon's damage on that one shock blast. Like, half HP already.
Well, Cherry says,
revenge!
Try once, fool me twice. Maybe looking for another opportunity.
No!
And Green, he tried to bring DY to the party, and they got the flash out of Neon this time around.
And the fact that they used the tidal wave, everything, nothing still in exchange.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing this composition can do, right? This is the only way they can win, is by getting Pan a gold lead, by playing through that CC combo like we talked about with the tidal wave into the Nunu Snowball, and they're going to keep trying to force it. It's not working for them, and that is a very bad sign as the Nova gold lead grows.
And Long is bringing that advantage towards the Baron side of the map now, which means J-Team, if you're looking for an early snowball, it has to come through Barry and DY's lanes now.
But it's difficult. You're up against Remake and Yami, 2 defensive champions. All they do is wave clear. Maybe to a top side potentially, but they just back away. But that's the thing. You can push Remake and Yami onto their towers.
Mate, здравствуй.
Anything unless DY lands a bubble, which he's constantly trying
Echo roaming perfectly during the early game, finding
Поставь русский язык
against counter ganks, finding that control of the top side.
в этом приложении. Русский язык поставь.
Nova, and as we get towards the late game,
Когда увидишь.
Long who gets scarier, it's Remake who gets scarier. This
Так, сейчас я тут донастрою.
so well on the back foot is the and Long can start to do massive burst damage onto Carrie's lane.
And remember, Long was able to get a big quadra kill as well through icons. Again, this was a game where everybody decided to ban full 5 ban Long, and this is the Echo. This is what appeared.
There we go, our first objectives of the game up. It will be the Rift Herald on the top side, the object of attention J-Team needed to get back into this game.
And one of the things that Cherry will have, despite the failed counter gank in the mid lane, he's playing Nunu, and this is one of the strengths that J-Team will be able to rely on throughout the game goes. With Consume, you add extra true damage, comboing with that with the Smite, you can outsmite Long at any part of the game.
And I think that's part of the decision-making that J-Team...
Мэтт, ты
No, we don't have...
по-русски не базарили.
So we're going to focus in and guarantee we get the Rift Herald. And Nova in response say, this is going pretty well for us. There's no reason to risk it for an objective.
TK, Rift Herald, no Ziggs to finish off that tower down.
But if you're looking at J-Team's game plan, it's kind of in ruins, right? Because the Orianna is supposed to be their late game damage. That's not happening. The Chariot is supposed to be their tanky frontline. That's not happening.
No.
So what do you play through at this point? Well, you hope Dawn and Barry, your two side laners who've gone kind of unattended this game, can pull out a miracle in the next 5 minutes or so before they're outscaled, before their damage is no longer relevant.
I think it's possible, because we've seen Dawn create flanks in the backline, and for that to happen, you have to open up the map even more, which means remove mid lane.
And a Barry almost got completely knocked out by Yami, who was waiting in the bush. Good Spidey sense there with the ward.
I want to bounce this to you, Mark, because you do play this matchup occasionally. How rough is it that Cherry is this far behind Long?
Honestly, TJ, if Cherry was playing any other champion, I would be crying and would want to AFK and go to the next game. But you're playing a tank. Like, that is the beautiful thing for J-Team this game. Because the front line is on Cherry's responsibilities this game. Tanks get a lot of stat efficiency out of tank items. They're relatively cheap compared to the rest of the carry items, and you will at least do your job in soaking damage. And Absolute Zero provides you an additional health shield on top of it, so it makes up for the fact that he is behind in gold.
And it's what's important as well is that you need to find these setups for Cherry to actually activate and utilize all of what you just said, Rafa. Team fights, they need dragon fights. But so far, Nova has been trading, has been avoiding them, and they're doing a good job.
I love that you highlight that, because that's exactly what Nova did a couple of moments ago, right? When the Rift Herald was up for grabs, they dodged it.
Oh, but it is the snowball that counter ganks Long. But however, they've brought 3 members of the party. But Shockwave! Shockwave onto 3 is going to send Nova into a conundrum, and they've got to retreat. The rest of the reinforcements have come through for J-Team. DY with a beautiful tidal wave cuts off the exit route for Nova. 3 have been wiped.
And that was J-Team's early game composition coming online, demonstrating what it's supposed to do. And the only question, as they try to get yet more gold off of the play, is it too late? Have Nova gotten late enough into this game that J-Team's power spike here won't matter?
Yeah, that counter gang was definitely amazing done by J-Team, right? And Pan's roam towards bot side was the big difference.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody walked into that death rush. Let's take a look at this again. It was a parallel convergence. It is going in. Okay, fine. 3v2 situation. But look at this play coming from Pan. Walks into 3. Big Big shockwave, ba-boom.
Bam! Bam! And that's exactly what they needed to get, right? It not only finds them this team fight, but it also gets very important gold onto exactly the two players that we were talking about falling behind. Pan gets some gold, so he's a little bit bigger, for a step towards that Rabadon's over on the Orianna. And I would like to highlight that Cherry gets gold as well. And while everything you're talking about is true, it's possible to play tank junglers even when they're lower in gold. Having the extra gold so that you can be the team's frontline tank and not killable in this mid-late game is how J-Team are going to be able to win team fights.
Looking for another snowball here. If parts of Nova, like the Red Sea, the rest of the members of J-Team have to follow up here, right into the choke point. But look at Neon, approaching from the left side of the flank, keeping Barry at a distance, the main damage dealer alongside Pan. Dawn trying to frontline, but realizes the rest of the damage dealers were zoned off by Neon, so he could not capitalize and has to retreat from the fight.
There's so much poke here.
Long looking for another one. Parallel convergence doesn't get the stun down on anyone. It's a flash out of Pan, and J-Team are retreating from the river.
Really good combo there by DY and Barry to get Barry out of the fight when Neon threatens him, but there's the problem. Neon is...
Pressure will shift towards Pan, where he lands an amazing shockwave once more. Barry right now, okay, Storm Razor, let's see fight part 2.
He's buying up as much gold as possible. You see that tome in his pocket because they know that they need to fight here for this dragon. Here come J-Team for the Hail Mary to try and keep themselves in this game.
If they get vision, Cherry can always flash over, consume smite, and outsmite Long, but they give him no chance to do it.
It's risky. J-Team was lacking one member. Dawn was busy split pushing at the top portion of the map, and they couldn't even finish it just yet. We'll see if Nova decides to defend that. Looks like that's going to be a no, but Nova gathering a lot of these dragons so far, and this late game looks pretty good for them.
And Nova know that Dawn's up on the top side of the map, so they know they have a 5v4 anywhere else. Here they go with the Rift Herald for the far more valuable mid-turret. I think Dawn really caused trouble for J-Team there.
They're continuing to make the Rift Herald push down the mid lane. It won't knock out the second turret completely, but knocks down 2 plates, which makes the next push even easier.
Володя неизвестно, здравствуйте.
It's not obvious just yet. The gold lead is just pretty even so far. But when we look at the map state, Nova has been winning a lot, so we'll see how they can dive into the deeper ends of J-Team's jungle and further their lead and be more aggressive.
Right, that's the pressure for Nova right now. Okay, you have a pretty good late game scaling composition. The only thing that scares them at this point
Лисия, здравствуйте.
So, get into the jungle, take away
Покемон,
the
здравствуйте.
fact that Remake and Long can get out of danger to be a little bit riskier on the map. And when we come to team fights, the entire team fight is going to be about killing that Orion.
Так, что у нас тут происходит?
And you definitely want to kill the Orion if you are Nova. You know why, guys?
Why?
He's got a death cap.
There
Death
it is!
cap, death cap, death
Cap! Death cap!
We're sponsored by Death Cap.
Death cap responsibly.
And this will be
Нова выигрывает одну игру, да? PO7.
Which is the big flashy spell, but also watch that ball traveling through the team fights and doing sustained damage.
DY though, Yami?
Barry dove under tower right into 1v1 against Remake while Yami
Ариана с завоевателем.
DY, the turret doesn't go down quite completely.
One thing to note, that top side is slowly
Дмитрий, здравствуйте.
so J-Team cannot take their time, or else Nova, if they win a fight, they're going to keep pushing more of these towers. As you can see, they want to defend right now.
Mid-turret controlled here barely by Nova. They keep it up on about a sliver of HP.
Рингтон с убийцей Кракена.
As we head towards this late game with a Nova lead, and Baron coming up on the map, it's really scary for J-Team. Their only hope is these 5v5 team fights.
But we're talking about Rabadon's death cap. There's a but. There's a big but here. Rabadon's death cap also picked up by Long, so he's going to deal massive amounts of damage in this next 5v5. And how can J-Team basically dodge around that? That's the biggest question.
Well, that's the scariest part here is we're talking about how you need to kill Pan. Nova have exactly the tools to do that, and they're hunting.
Nova have already secured entrance to the river. Knock up onto Cherry. Half HP.
Shockwave.
Absolute zero force out, but nice shockwave from Pan, and now forces the retreat from Nova.
You see the Orianna damage truly online there, half HPing some of the tankier members of Nova, but that is not enough to win the fight. They need access to remakes and Neon to Long in order to actually take a fight.
Imagine they bursted all their ults except Dawn, and they couldn't even find anything. Meanwhile, for Nova,
Эко через жезл веков, кстати, идет.
able to burn and bait everything down without them consuming too much.
They do still got a lot of ults, and they're going to be trying to use them to chase down that backline. Remember, they only have one
Интересно.
target. By contrast, Nova Esports have multiple players who are really scary in this late game, which is, of course,
Дмитрий, можешь сказать, как меня слышно? Нормально, нет?
in this late game.
And as you say that, right, we're looking at the items.
Перенастраивался.
We talked about him incredibly scary.
Звук не
More on that defensive split push.
сильно сжат.
There right now. Having that Borg, having to be incredibly scary. Imagine Black Shield on him. Dominus, boom. Just destroy all of the squishy members from J Team.
Bam.
Bam!
Bam. Boom, bam.
And in contrast to the last game, JC don't have a lead to play with here, and they're in kind of the same situation at the 15-minute mark. In order to get back into this game, they cannot make a mistake. We cannot have a repeat of Dawn getting caught out in the side lanes. And we already kind of did with Dawn being up in the top lane while the rest of his team needed him to take a fight. Nova resetting now, 30 seconds away from this Infernal Dragon.
It's not the Elder for either team, so it's not quite game-ending yet if one were to lose a fight, but stakes are high here.
Yeah, this is an objective you feel comfortable fighting for if you're either team. And so J-Team are going to play the fact that there are two objectives on the map. Try to force Nova into a disadvantaged position. Because if they can find an angle for all those stuns to land in sequence, that is the only way they get back into this game.
Exactly right. Absolute Zero, Shockwave, Tidal Wave. They have to layer all of these things to win.
And they need Dawn to get into the front lines to find those stuns. He's on a flank now.
Revving it up, but
on the
Yami.
Dragon.
Got it.
Yami, good guy. Yami tanks up the snowball, ensuring that Cherry cannot get into the pit. Nova cleanly take the Dragon without any meaningful contest. J-Team are still pushing for any stragglers here. And it's a hero's entrance from Yami, being able to re-enter the fight, cutting them off. But Shockwave is huge! The bubble from DY follows up beautifully, and the rest on along. Neon almost biting the dust, barely managing to survive.
I don't know if that's enough, Mark, but it is a window. It is a chance for J-Team to get back into this game because it is not just those two kills. It is instantly going to convert to a massive swing at this Baron. Yeah. Nova do not have a jungler on the board for 30 seconds.
And it's Nunu too. You can burn this down with Consume so easily. You can take it up without any contest whatsoever from Nova. Baron swung over to J-Team.
Mid-turret taken. Baron taken. J-Team back in control?
It's such a
Nintendo Switch, здравствуй.
Because I feel like, yes, Nova, they got the Dragon, but there was so much hesitation. Honestly, they didn't even need to fight this. All they had to do was run away. Totally understandable, the thought process on this one, but at the end of the day, if that Shockwave hits, boom, absolutely massive.
Блин, интересно, Нуну увидеть, да? На протяжении всего этого не было, всего турнира не было Нуну.
I think Long missed targets in that fight, not hunting Pan, who very clearly is the only major source of damage here for J-Team.
Barry got J-Team through the early mid-game so that Pan could fly and these fights and single-handedly wipe out multiple members here on Nova.
Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. There's only a minute left on this Baron.
Ничего себе, он шотнул.
Caught out again.
Long heard us talking smack on here on the casting desk. And the rest of Nova making the defense happen 5-on-4 with Baron. Buff still on the side of J-Team for 45 seconds.
Yeah, this is the window that Nova has to take. They have to make sure that they don't lose more towers. They have to attack now while Dawn is gone for 30 seconds.
And none of these inhibitors are under threat, which means I think Nova have done it. They find a catch out on Dawn yet again. Too aggressive in the side lanes, nowhere near the rest of his team. And with that dead player, Nova are able to defend their inhibitors, basically reset the game to a neutral state where they have the advantage as the better scaling late game team.
And that's the sad part, right? J-Team worked hard.
Идут в тютелька в тютельку вообще. 18-я минута, ровно 64. Едем прям. Ужасает такое.
Kind of hard.
It is.
For the Lucian, this is one of those characters that does so well in the early game because the range disadvantage doesn't hurt him as much as when you get into the later parts of the game, where
Никому меня
one
слышно, я
step
думаю.
forward at the wrong time could be game changing.
And that's why Nova should not, I repeat, should not fight in these compressed areas. They have to make sure that they're all scattered so the big shockwave doesn't come in coming from Pan. I know
Вар, здравствуй.
magic shield, but it's not going to help you versus an instantaneous shockwave.
So here we
С кем
go,
поговорить.
heading towards the 20-minute mark with Lucian scaling out of this game, falling out of this game. Neon maybe meeting him, but Long's catching up. Long's hitting his biggest power spike, so it's remake.
Ну что ты, рассказывай, как дела? Как меня слышно, скажи? Я чуть-чуть звук изменил. Сейчас лучше, хуже? Звук может быть пережат сильно. Скажи что-нибудь по этому поводу. Ой-ой-ой. Хорошо, зароумили. Прям чётенько. Я его чуть-чуть поджал звук. Вот интересно, изменилось или как-то нет? Что-то со звуком не так?
4,000 HP, 2,000 HP. It is secured by Long, and the shockwave is only clipping the frontline members. This parallel convergence separates J-Team from its frontline. Yeetse and Dawn battling out as the frontline members. Huge bubble from DY clips the members of Nova, but they got what they
Я себя сам включу, послушаю. Короче, сегодня будем играть в Детройт. Скачал... Вот и Геральт подсоединился. После турика скачал Детройт, зашел в него, еба, я охуел прям. Графа вообще пиздатая. Ой-ой-ой-ой-ой. Блин, так хорошо выиграли файт предыдущий.
Against the inhibitors. Now for a 2-game lead in this grand final. Nova have a minute left on the Baron, and they run the map with the Elder Ocean Dragon up.
Dawn and Barry are the only members alive, but I don't think there's any way they can walk into that pit and contest. It's already burned down.
Let's take a look at this again because this is incredible. Long's positioning here, Pan being the biggest threat in this late game. Lands some auto attacks, big boy damage. Look at Pen, slides the parallel convergence, no problem because the chrono break is there.
And this the second time this game, the third time this series. Pick in the late game, finding Dawn inside lane twice, finding Pan overextended here, and maybe even 3 times, as he did moments ago, find Cherry with his stun combo as well. We've talked about Long being the hero of Nova. Here we are seeing a different form, and it's not just about his team fights.
Блин, ну со звуком, да, странности какие-то. Не могу нормально настроить. Убрал слот с USB 3.0. Нету слота сейчас этого вообще в компьютере. Из-за этого звук начал проседать просто. Какой прикол. А у меня... Здорово, здорово, Геральт. Катать? А что ты, чемпионат мира не будешь смотреть? Не, не пробовал еще, Вар. У меня микрофон просто USB-шный. Он прикол. Вообще подумаю, надо купить, да. Вообще по-хорошему микрофон другой купить. У меня микрофон такой дешевенький. А ты играл, Вар, в этот, в Детройт? Я вчера скачал, короче, зашел. Бля, вообще охуенная просто графа такая. Мне уже не терпится поиграть. закончится за чемпионат мира, я там сделаю еще боксов, добавлю, пущу ракету и начнем проходить Детройт. По мемам. Короче, сегодня насыщенный день должен быть.
Once Cherry did an early gank for Pan in the mid lane. That big 2v2 was that big point where it says like, hey, Long is at it again.
Yeah, and there's a moment
Так, а что мы, я просмотрел вообще там, чем эти выиграли, получается, да, Нова? 2-0 сейчас счет. Давай пока не пиздят, я, короче, попробую поиграться со звуком.
What I can say, Rafa, is that although Scary Cherry and Barry at 80 carry can carry, they haven't met Strong Long, who's now won 2 games in a row here for Nova Esports. As we pass it on over to our draft expert here. Thank you very much, Rafa.
Вот так что-то отличается или нет? В голосе. Котя Рек, здравствуй.
Great answer, because there was an answer, and it was a Nunu.
You're spiraling. I'll save you here. So let's talk a little bit about the Nunu pickup.
Так лучше, да? Прям заметно, да? Ну.
I felt like the Nunu was something they had pre-planned, especially once I saw the Siege come through, because it is so stat efficient. I imagine that was the game plan.
Нет, это best of 7. Финал. То есть счет может закончиться 4-3. Короче, Нигермах. Ой. Прикол в том, что я убрал на эквалайзере чуть-чуть, вообще подкорректировал низкие частоты. Сейчас послушаю там себя. А ну а если я их еще опущу, интересно. А так. То же самое, да, по идее? Чтобы ничего не изменилось. Не, ну получше, да, получается нету такого гудения, да, в звуке. Ну я понял, да. А ну сейчас еще одну настройку, Вар. У меня выше. Звукорежиссер. Сейчас я еще кое-что изменю. Вот я сейчас изменил, понизил высокие частоты в конце. Изменилось что-то или нет?
Big penta there and a great moment for all of the EU region. Granted, this one's yours. I feel like Chaz unleashed
Говорю. Пар. Что тебе рассказать? Будет у нас еще сейчас 2 бокса по 500 баллов, когда начнем играть в Детройт. Гудение появилось. А сейчас лучше или хуже?
Southeast Asian representative. This is early on in the tournament. Burium United against Guangdong Freaks. And
говорю без гудения, говорю. Блин, ну сейчас я вернул обратно, дело.
was such an eye-opener and a tone setter for what Icons had in store. Big.
Так, ну ладно, лучше стало, чем было, правильно? Потом еще понастраиваем.
We all know these players have good mechanics. We all know they have smart plays behind, smart brains as well, you know. But what I love from Team Flash, what I love from Coyote, and what I love from Zissou.
Просто у меня куча фильтров накинута, понял? Да, возможно, я просто пережимаю звук. Посмотри, я сейчас выключу вообще... Вообще выключу фильтры. Вот сейчас как, Вар? Хуже, лучше. Но сейчас прям должно очень сильно измениться. А теперь так.
Was it got into knockouts, and then at the second point, well, had to hold true to his 3-0, and of course, Polar Bear Stewart.
Так, так. Как было только что я включал, да?
It's the volley bear. It's the new skin coming at you on the rift.
I feel like I need analysis.
It's a volley bear cosplay as well. I had to get it in. You know, volley bear, maybe.
Yeah.
Nice little volley bear.
I'm glad that you're able to do that. Those were your Coca-Cola actions. Time for a quick break, but coming up next, game number 3. We'll see you in just a little bit.
There's something about games.
What you doing there?
Сейчас момент, я себя слушаю, я отключу сейчас звук.
There is one thing that can't be stopped.
Feelings. And if you can feel it,
It must be real, right?
and that's
real magic.
Привет, Кристин, привет. Не знаю, у меня не отображается, а вы? Где я смотрю? Сейчас, секунду, минуту, я послушаю свой звук. Сейчас. Включу звук пока свой.
Welcome back to the finals here for Icons 2022. It's currently 2-0 Nova Esports. No answer to be found yet by J-Team looking to get their first win on the board, and analyst Grandin has the answer.
I'll give you a hint, Digon. It has something to do with game number 1.
Something to do with game number 1. What could that be?
What could it possibly be? Almost hit it earlier on as well. It's the
Блин, реально без фильтров лучше звук, да? Я что-то даже не думал о таком варианте. Как чище, как будто бы. Короче, мне надо включить стрим самому и слушать, убирая фильм.
It feels like no matter what you draft, if you give up a double kill and a jungler that's going to fall behind, it's not going to work anyways.
That's a great point, Analyst Digon.
Yeah, Analyst Digon here to point out the
Вы о каких мешках говорите?
Why did that double kill happen? Was it because they didn't have hands?
No, it was on the... Yes, actually, yes. It was because there were no hands there by Cherry. He's forgot them at home because it was the edge of the parallel convergence, right? When you go back to the stun, it was very, very close.
I honestly thought it wasn't going to hit, to be honest with you.
Right? Yeah, it was very close, to be fair, to Cherry. But if that doesn't hit, the whole game is different. All of us in the back are like, oh,
Champ model too big, I guess.
Yeah. Clipped him right on the edge of Willem.
Yeah. I would say, do we not have any takers? And then Twitch chat, you can help me out here. Do we have not any takers to start playing down to the bottom?
Ну что, 2-0. Ведут китайцы, выигрывают у китайцев. Я не понял, о чем ты вообще, Кристин. Насчет чего? Я просто, я смотрю чат сейчас с телефона, и у меня здесь не видно никаких аватаров.
extra wave for going down bot, guys.
Wow, that was crazy. I think I'm losing my mind.
Пар, понял. Кристина, ты знаешь такую игру Детройт?
I think for game 3, I think it's going to be interesting to see if J-Team are going to be able to prioritize their jungler early on now in the draft, because I think the first game they
waited
for
till
that
4-5.
Yeah, when they did the Lucian and the Orianna pick 2 and 3, yes, you have that flexibility, but Cherry's champion pool just becomes lower.
Знаешь, играла?
4 jungle bans in the first phase in game number 2. You then also had Long, who picked Echo early on, so they can ban out 2 more junglers, and then it goes all the way down there.
Yes, this is the thing. J-Team need to stop banning elite. They need to first pick elite. That's the play
Да,
for
да, да.
J-Team right now. That's the only play for J-Team right now. But if Nova recognize this and they ban Senna Lee, oh, okay, well then they'll get Senna Lee. So this
Я
is
думаю, поиграть после чемпионата.
Another thing is that Yumi is going to be open potentially if J-Team doesn't ban this out as well. So do you first pick Lee Sin, but then you give over the Yumi to Nova, and then Yami can play it with...
Давно не играл в игры такие хорошей графикой на компьютере. Видеокарту поменял, прям раскачал, реально я охерел вообще за график. У меня был Xbox, который предыдущее поколение. Блин, там графика не такая была. Даже взять то, что у меня телек 75 дюймов. 4К. Игры, конечно, не так смотрятся.
But he did call this out. We were going to let really strong picks get on through. The draft was going to flip on its head. And he said the person that opts into that was going to get destroyed. You did say that.
Yeah, that is true.
Если что, я сегодня уже начал стримить на Twitch. Что можете. Кому удобнее, могут смотреть на Twitch.
Yeah, they get Lee.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't think you need Lee. I think you take Yumi and potentially even Riven. Yumi Riven is such a strong combo as well. I think Senna is Barry's most played champion, and that's kind of where they found success as well. Yes, it's not a winning bot side, but it's Barry's most played champion. It's really good. But I think for Nova here, you just take Yumi, you just take Riven, and that's it.
Well, we're waiting to see what this final pick is.
Yumi.
There's the Yumi. That's the easy one.
So
Constantly banned throughout the tournament.
You could go Lee Sin. You could also go Riven as well. I think if they don't pick Lee Sin, I think Cherry's going to take that Lee Sin, like you said, potentially. Okay, comfort pick in mid lane.
Everything is open.
It's crazy.
So here's the thing again, right? J-Team, I feel like needed to go with a little bit more tempo, a little bit more aggression early on.
Блин, я закрываю, да, это.
Tell me is that they want to try and afford some scaling options down towards the bot side. Barry was up 5k. Still could not win the game, right? Because you have a mid lane that's going to leak pressure, you're going to have a jungler that's not going to keep up to the tempo, and now Nova have scaling options of their own as well.
Now I feel like, do you know what the crazy thing is? Is that these teams are waiting so long. There's a Lee Sin pick, but these teams are waiting so long to try and pick these champions.
You know what's going on backstage right now?
There's so much open.
Yeah, exactly. There's so much open. They're like, do we want Lee? Do we want
exactly. There's so many power picks open. Gragas is a new one though. That could potentially be a Senna Gragas. Like
immediately. Xin Zhao locked on in here for long. Constantly flexing his champion Ocean. He is water. That is long. Long, anything you drink, anything you swim in, that is long. He can play it. He's there.
This is usually the spot in the draft with the
Ну, в финале то же самое, да, все. Порки, Пена, Люми. Паны все те же самые. Надо будет посмотреть статистику. Вар, напомни после этой катки, посмотрим статистику вообще по чемпионам. Как заканчивается в итоге это. Это движение. Да, мне теперь интересно, как бы звук так. Что тут лишнее, интересно? Что-то лишнее получается.
This isn't Lee Sin take over the game.
And Vigon, this is what I was expecting going into this series. I was expecting games to go more like this, where Long would have to play facilitative champions like the Xin Zhao, enable the rest of his team to come ahead. Itza, Nian would have to be the ones to come up ahead. And now we're finally starting to see that come through, but we haven't seen a top side or a mid side pick potentially if the Corki could still go bot.
Right. So we'll keep an eye on that. The next couple bans, Renekton and Darius with Riven and Garen. This top lane pool getting chunked very hard.
I was going to mention that as well because the Baron lane hasn't been picked on either side. Normally, you know, Yitse and Dawn, you think of them, you know, Riven, Renekton are the two main champions. But now even after that as well, Darius is gone, Garen's gone, Camille's gone. So what do you play towards this top side?
Sure, there are like 5 champions top and all 5 have been banned.
Жара уже надоела это. Когда уже станет прохладнее.
Well, we saw Shen be used by Shy on Team Flash to great success in their victory over JDG, but that was shut down and taken away by J-Team in their series, and now they'll have to deal with it. The one thing that J-Team do have with this competition is that they were so much better than Team Flash in their series in the semifinals.
Посмотрим сегодня. Мы вчера начинали, не знаю, ты заметила или нет, была ты уже или нет. Когда начинали Heavy Rain играть, мне она не понравилась вообще. Начало очень сильно затянуто было. Ну и графика такая. Ничем не зацепила в начале. А Детройт я скачал. Блин, ну прикольно. Киберпанк. Я покупал на Xbox, пытался что-то мне там немножко побегать. Купил, даже не играл почти. Но я покупал ее, когда она только вышла. Да. Задиссимо.
Yeah, this is Corki bot side then. It's for remake, and then it's going to be Nyan on the Diana mid lane. So it's a bit of a switch up. Corki Yumi bot lane is an okay bot lane. You're against Senna Gragas as well. But honestly, I'm thinking of the Z pick. Who do you ult
За Зеда? Ну, они проигрывают. Они проигрывают 0-2.
I honestly feel like Pan's going to have a really difficult time on this Z.
Got a snowball. I mean, that composition on the left by J-Team is Snowball City with Lee Sin trying to get on in, and hopefully the Senna will be able to be a late game insurance, but this is high risk here by J-Team.
Yeah, I feel like J-Team have just
Мне кажется, Эко даже лучше был бы.
They want to try to play side lanes later, but I think that's gonna be so difficult against the Xin with the Yumi on him running at you. It looks to be a tough draft to pull off, but it comes down to the same thing. Early game, mid jungle.
Yumi, Tumi.
Every series has a draft where both coaches take their draft prep and throw it out the window. Game 3 is that series. Nova and J-Team. Nova trying to take a 3-0 lead. Will they be able to do it? Let's send it on over to the casters.
Thank you, Digon. And as
Да, это финал.
J-Team have decided to all in
Финал.
on the cherry.
БО7, финал, 2-0 счет.
But if that does not get
Выигрывает
TJ,
НВ, который справа.
very deadly composition that Nova have assembled.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Ну сейчас они будут... Да, опять справа.
This is big for J-Team, now only 2 games away from losing the grand finals. What a run they've made to get here.
When you go back to the beginning of the overall Wild Rift esports season and you follow the WRL, J-Team were dominant in the regular season, the #1 team. But then when it came to the playoffs, a best of 3, a best of 7, they fell in the end to FPX. And it came down to last chance qualifiers where they lost to Nova.
Я вот думаю, а Диана что, она контрпик Зеда?
So the fact that J-Team have made it here by chance and have made it all the way to the grand finals is already a Cinderella run in itself.
Yeah, imagine, you know, starting their journey, they were 5th seed, and then they were like, okay, that's it. But then boom, get here, by chance, and they...
Не, ну по идее да, и Зеду сложно против Дианы. Но чтобы она была прям контрпик, мне кажется... Хуй знает. Она может уйти, он может уйти из ульты за ее. Я бы не сказал бы, что они прям так намного сильнее кто-то из них. Не, ну я понимаю, щит, да. Ну... Хрен его знает. Мне кажется, такой более-менее равный матчап.
Again, what Stuart was talking about, what you guys were talking about, it is going to be
Ну, смотря как он будет идти, каким счетом. Зеду в любом случае надо хилы брать. Ну, из отставания, либо в равной мере на Зеде все равно сложновато, наверное, будет. Ему нужно небольшой перефарм какой-то. Ой-ой-ой, прилип. Джао. Как хорошо начиналось, и в итоге прилипли двое, да? Не всех. Против Ясу ему сложно, ну, примерно одинаково. Типа у кого прямее руки будет выиграть. Против Эко тоже будет сложно. Но ультит и Эко ультит. Да не убивает. Если прямо у Ясу, он не убивает. Я играл на Ясу, блин, 4 месяца подряд, и играл против Зедов. Типа там играет больше, у кого прямые руки. Примерно одинаковые мача. Ну, одинаково то, что тот может убить. Ясу может задоджить его сюрикены. И у него Ясу щит есть, если ему заультить сразу. Ну, типа... Ну, на Изумруде, может, Ясу прямых нет. А где-то на мастер-тире вот, будет примерно одинаково. Я видел матчи Зедов против Ясу. Типа топ-10 Ясу, топ-10 Зед. Очень ровно идут. Но выигрывал Ясу, кстати. То, что я смотрел. Да нет, я просто знаю. Я ж не говорю, что Ясу против всех хорош. На Ясу плохо против всяких Морган, блядь, Люксевичей. Но я, например, баню Зеда. В любом случае. Я не скажу, что Зед слабый персонаж. Против него надо потеть. Что не всегда хочется. Так, что у нас происходит здесь? Нова опять в перефарме идут 2-5. Тот забирают красного дракона. Еще не забрали, но заберут. Что-то GT прям с сухую идут. Нет, это, наверное, у меня закрыто.
Everyone forgets about Xin Zhao,
Yeah.
and if he can just 1v1 someone, he outstat checks anyone in the game.
And he can take a hit as well, especially with Yami riding along.
Here comes another fight. Cherry looking for the play. Smash. Dawn with the showstopper slams long into the ground. It gets a flash out. Dawn has to tank up as much damage as he can. Good haymaker, tanks up the brunt of the damage, flashes away, gets out, but now it's up to the rest of J-Team. Can they follow up? Can they look for more onto Yitse? Pan coming in with a flank. Yitse flashing forward, but doesn't realize there's a Shadow Ninja on the other side of the wall, who's now looking to clean up the pieces.
Да не, это я не полностью открыл. Не заметил.
And they're looking to tie down the Rift Herald. What was that? At the end of the day, J-Team, it felt
they were winning that team fight, that long run team fight, but Mian was still alive all along. Takes advantage of the low health bars. Let's see though.
Pan got the fruit. He's back in here, poking and prodding away.
Barry coming over the wall as well. There's no smite available yet. Long can just burn this down.
Они в прошлой игре на 18-й минуте шли голда в голду прям. Ну типа, прям ровно. После точки даже цифры ровные.
Get to see Dawn flex his set powers right here. Haymaker, immense amount of shield, a lot of CC to provide for J-Team. But at the end of the day, Remake was still alive, Nian was still alive.
Блядь, Шен что-то как-то... Блядь, там такие скорости реакции у них, конечно, жесткие. А что это она делает? А что? Что она... И одним вдвоем убегает от нее. Могли бы ее быстро шотнуть, наверное. Ну смешно, да? Да там же видно было, что она не поймает. Там было видно, что она не поймает, а те чуваки убегали от нее. Думали, наверное, что там сзади бежит близко кто-то другой. Чисто дикая кошка, ему. Ну да, там Диана бежала, она... Ну, она далеко бежала, как бы. Ну, в общем, ситуация получилась юморная. По Юми прогнала двух, как бы. Персонаж.
He's able to slide out of that one, which will give him the necessary gold from those side lanes to kind of stay in the game. That's what he's doing in that bottom lane. He's looking for every little bit of gold he can get.
But he's not in a Hull Breaker. He's not Hull Breaker Zed. He is Team Fight Zed. Yeah. So now for J-Team, how will they be able to wait for these objectives, for these 5v5s, for these skirmishes? As long as there's no dragon, Nova, on the other hand, are happy that this game is going slow.
Yeah, he really wants this turret. But as you're talking about, not Hullbreaker, can't be Hullbreaker because they need him to be a teamfight carry. They have no option in the matter.
Oh, Long flashing forward. This is a Xin Zhao without any boots, and he is running down Cherry.
He's just moving forward without Yami, without boots, just as you said. Very brave, because he knows he's 3-2-3.
Okay, Neon looking for the moonfall on the berry. He's maneuvered away from DY, and
DY
can't do anything! He can't get in range! Can he get an answer back? Explosive cast gets the
Хорош, Грагас. Ебать, а тут еще и Шен прилетает. Блять. Красиво. Красиво, ничего не скажешь.
Because Barry and DY were J-Team's ace in the hole. They were their late game insurance policy, and that policy's value has just tanked.
And you could tell that DY was trying his hardest.
Да там просто Диана сыграла очень жестко. Там Грагас тоже красиво играл, дело в том, что он должен был ее убивать. Но и Диана прям очень классно сыграла. Но он не ожидал, что она даст стазис. Поэтому и дал.
Chapter wasted.
Long gets the dragon, secures it for the side of Nova Esports. Pan onto the backside, looking for the execution with the death mark, but it's not enough damage, and the rest of Nova have already dealt with J-Team.
Cherry's all alone, making the great escape. He'll slip away, so miraculously, nobody on J-Team dies.
But maybe Dawn?
Oh! Ебать.
No. That was close. Cherry achieves and gets the stealth mission done.
Да, все хорошо сыграли, просто не повезло. Ну, а везет, как говорится, сильнейшим.
That gets J-Team a little bit of gold back on the map, but they are absolutely going to take a swing at this Rift Herald.
They need to fight. They gotta get this, because look at Neon 500.
Rift Herald's about to despawn. It might have.
We'll see, though.
Long is burning it down. He gets it right in time before the Baron comes online. Neon in the 1v2, 2v1, because he's got Yami on his back pocket once again.
Да не, ну тут 3-0.
Anything about it. Barry is forced off the tower. DY trying to come in as reinforcements, but is bullied by Long, and the rest of the members of Nova have corralled Cherry into a corner. He's got mobility, but he cannot defend the turret.
This is a very...
Драдиум, здравствуй.
Wait, hold up.
Oh, potentially. It's a lot of damage already onto Remake. The Dragon's Rage knocks Remake out, and he's buying time once again.
Cherry trying his hardest to find something.
Бля, как же они прочитали, да?
Gets the crux? Stasis? No.
Nowhere to go.
Meanwhile,
back on
Прям жестко, жестко. Как будто они с щитами играют.
about to emerge here. Dawn already with the showstopper. Locks him down. Facebreaker into the haymaker. Neon almost survives, but Dawn clips him out with one more haymaking punch. Remake now back in it, but it's Pan that comes back with a resurgence of damage, and Barry following up beautifully. They've knocked out Yami. That's a swing of gold back into the pockets of J-Team.
3 for 3 suddenly, an even trade for J-Team, and badly.
Вряд ли они слабые, Кристин. Слабых уже нету точно. Просто лучше продуман пик.
Too confident with the gold lead they have, and so is Yeezus, so are the rest of Nova. They walk into what is a disadvantaged fight, trusting that J-Team won't have the tools to punish them, but that is not true of a team that is here in the Icons Grand Final.
And one thing that's amazing right now, at least for J-Team, is
Жестко же Шен, он наносит урона в файтах, как Диана. Ну, у них типа что? У них лейт сена, но при этом лисин не лейтовый. На Зеде дно.
Comes through in that team fight, but it's got to be more. It can't just be that one team fight. J-Team have to find successive skirmishes just like that one.
Надо было тебя брать, да, как запасного игрока на Зеде. Ну, красные, да, они как будто больше хотят выиграть просто. Больше смещений, больше таких. Но опять же, перефарм еще присутствует. Оно всегда так выглядит, когда ты играешь, ну, жестко отстаешь по фарму. Даже когда ты в соло-ку играешь, кажется, как будто тебя разъебывают как бота. У них два дракона. Ну, он тут уже исполняет, конечно. Ну, он, да, там, а что ему еще оставалось делать?
And J-Team, I don't know why they force a fight here. As I was talking about, they have a really good late game composition, but they feel the need to start something. Maybe they thought they had a player caught out, and the chain of events quickly balloons into an untenable.
Ну там Юми пиздец, Юми. Она садится там на эту Диану и все, пиздец, там просто машина убийства получается. Либо кор. А придачу Шен ультует еще. Ну, это пиздец у них связка, реально. Вот у них Диана керрит, ебать, да? На ней сидит Юми, киллит ее, а в нужный момент еще ультует на нее Шен. Что ты с ней сделаешь вообще? Да и с любым другим героем. Тем же Корпе.
massive gold lead over to Nova. Now a minute on Baron as well.
DY tries to stop him, but Neon still has way too much damage. Golden stasis on both
Синхронное,
and Cherry.
синхронное стазирование.
And Nova have 3 members to 1 with Baron buff on their side. They could make the push to put themselves at match point.
They're approaching tournament point.
Да, если это будет 5-0, вообще будет.
The inhibitors taking out that mid lane for the rest of the game.
Ну, типа, GT, по-моему, были фаворитами вообще. Насколько я помню, в начале турнира. Ой, блядь. Не Грагас в АП полностью идет или что, не помню. Он ватный прям вообще. Ему было бы смысл, наверное, здесь уже собираться какой-то жирок.
Showstopper right onto long, but he's got the final chapter from Yami. They've locked down Pan. That's a major assassination. Korn from the side of J Team. They are looking to Barry to be the last one that can defend the base alongside Cherry. But Nova.
Пиздец, что они творят? Ебать! Блять, если бы они сейчас еще отскочили, это был вообще прикол просто. Ебать, они просто побежали нахуй. Прикиньте, реально, они сейчас бы их убивают, ебать. С нулевой слезал 3-0. Сам себе. Ты подумал так? Написал? Мы просто смотрели же со второй карты. А, или ты имеешь в виду...
Right now, Nova look unstoppable. This looks like the Nova that upset FPX, that beat the best team in the WRL, that wiped the complete side of the bracket they were on, that looked deadly all throughout the play-in stage, lest we forget Nova climbed here from the very first day.
Давайте чекнем, пока они будут пиздеть.
Potentially taking a game off of our future Icons champions, but J Team, it's a best of 7. It's not over yet. One more. Dagon, who's a
Посмотрим статистику по чемпионам вообще. Что у нас получается? Кто самый пиздатый? Ну, Корки самый часто пикаемый персонаж. 70 каток. Корки присутствует. Зикс, Камила, Казикс, Кукон, Ривен, Джейс, Гарен. Так, по винрейту, по винрейту. Давайте такой, кого самого больше. По винрейту все-таки Камила такая осталась в итоге. Самая жесткая. Судя по количеству каток, 49 игр, 61% винрейт. Учитывая то, что она занерфленная, да, все равно самый жесткий персонаж получается на чемпионате. После нее можно, наверное, добавить Инжита. Да? Короче, давайте сделаем топ-5. Джинкс, здравствуй. Камила, Синджит.
But it's like you said, when you start the early game off and your jungler dies in the enemy jungle and brings the support to die with you, it's very difficult to play the game from there.
The thing about that though is that they did the exact same thing though. You know, J Team on that Lee Sin did the exact same thing in the semi-final.
Z, Shen, Ариана.
They played the Lee Sin. They went for that early game invade as well. Yes, it's a little bit of a different situation because the enemy jungler wasn't there, but this time it was Long who
Галио?
he did die, but like you said,
Да что-то Галио не видно.
with him,
Здесь
he
вообще.
lost out on that trade. And then, you know, Long got a little bit behind, but then he was able to come back as well. And then Cherry.
У него, ну Галио, да, ну можно его добавить, да. То у него 21 игра. Галио. Камила, Синжит, Галио, Z, Pen. Ну и там можно еще добавить, наверное, Джакса какого-нибудь. Джакс, Грагас такая, тир 2 типа. Джинкс? Наверное, нет. Подожди, Либраль. Нет, не брали. Не брали Амуму, Аню, Аурелиана, Блица, Кейтлин, Эвелину, За. 4, которые Джинкс, Катю, Эйл, Кеннон, Астер, Мисс Фортуна. Короче, вы видите. Что такое незарегистрированные чемпионы, я так и не понял. Самое интересное... не, ну был, кстати, сегодня Нуну первый раз. Нуну был. И Физ был, по-моему. Да? Интересно, почему не брали Панта, Рамуса. Мне самое больше интересно за них, почему их не брали. Пан же вроде нормально. Нормально себя чувствую. Солдат, здорово. Ты катки турнира посмотрел? Где? Где тут? Мы, по-моему, только 2 посмотрели. Так, я подумываю сделать себе чаю. Пока перерыв. Star Guardian. 07.14. Вот так вот. Кстати, скоро выйдет VR на консолях. Это будет прикольно. Интересно, она будет кроссплатформенная или нет?
Hello and welcome back to Icons 2022. It's our grand finals 3-0, and we got to see our first sneak peek of Star Guardian. That was sick. No one else? Anyone? That was so good.
Here.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Star Guardian Zaya finally coming to Wild Rift. I've been
я понял.
so long, and we get the redeemed version as well. I'm so excited for Star Guardian.
Да, я чуть-чуть припоздал на финал.
get a buff for Star Guardian. Something's not adding up here. This is kind of unfair. You are right, Brendan.
Yeah, what's going on? Why did they get a buff? Why did they get a buff for Star Guardian?
Okay, hear me out here. It's not over just yet. J-Cho just needs to drop an MV right now. And JT can still reverse sweepers.
All right, well, good luck, JT.
Это что там происходит на Твиче?
Was that Star Guardian Fiddlesticks? I think
Yeah,
we saw something there. We'll
Yeah,
send
no.
it on over there to the website again. 3 years since the last Star Guardian series has been out, and the fact that it's all encompassing across the, I guess, league ecosystem, the Runeterra.
То есть кто-то даже заходил
A lot
на
of fun,
Twitch.
but we've got business here still to handle. 3-0, maybe bringing out the brooms to see if it's a full sweep here by Nova, because J-Team, it is going very much to one side of that stage, because Nova's been in full control.
Ну, интересно, да, солдат, что 3-0. От финала ожидаешь чуть другого.
Because the best player in the tournament, Long, has been pretty dominant here. Stat Stewart.
Yep, he got 10 kills last game, which means he's getting ever so closer to 100 kills. He's currently at 99 kills. So all Long needs is one more kill. Please don't say I'm jinxing this now.
You're not going to jinx it. He has 4 games, at most 4 games to get 1 kill.
Long needs one more kill to get 100 kills this tournament, which is absolutely crazy. Crazy stats, you know. I think Long has definitely been, you know, for me, the MVP.
Так, пойду я сделаю пока сейчас.
You know, one of the MVPs in this series as well. I think he's stepped up again.
Тут расхаживать.
Why he was the MVP in China as well in the WRL.
You know, while we're talking about Long, while we're talking about the best jungler in the world, I'm kind of getting a bit of flashbacks right now to Brendan. You remember Horizon Cup? You remember when we had Darken Gaming, Hueba, the best jungler in the world, lead his team to a trophy at the first international event that we had? I'm getting deja vu. I feel like we're seeing the same thing unfold with Long here.
Junglers rule the world. I don't know what else to tell you guys.
Better jungle wins. Next time you lose your solo queue game, just look at the international events. Look at icons.
It's a jungle gap.
Yeah.
It's always jungle gap.
It's always jungle.
Yeah. Sorry, Thunder Talk Gaming Z. That was that was a great matchup that we set up that didn't quite pan out there in the finals. But in this one right now, we've had so many spotlights across J-Team's whole journey, but none of them seem to be working right now, Leonard. And it feels tough because that last one, we know Nova was styling on J-Team to close it out.
It's rough because J-Team, honestly, they've tried a couple of things at this point. I mean, we got to touch on that right now first, right?
Yeah. There's Long's 99 kills here.
Yeah, 99. He just needs one more kill to get 100 kills this tournament. There it is. There's the stat confirmed.
We can get the camera onto Long and let's double check his jersey number. What is it? I think it's...
sure.
Oh, yeah.
99, yeah.
Maybe that's the curse. Maybe he can't get any more kills. Maybe that's the maximum number of kills he's allowed to get.
Actually cursed now.
Yeah.
He's got 99 on his shirt. He's got 99 kills.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. This is not looking
But
good.
yeah, I mean, back to business, right? J-Team, the rough thing for them is not that they've lost 3 games, it's the manner in which they've lost all 3 games. They've tried basically everything at this point. Game 1, 3 winning lanes. Game 2, strong winning bot lane. Game 3, a little bit more scaling, and nothing has stuck at this point. At every venture, every avenue, Nova has answered them back in kind.
Well, it kind of feels like Game 1 was their best opportunity because they had that 5K gold lead they just couldn't close out. Games 2 and 3 felt like, hey, something early happened that not shouldn't happen, but wouldn't normally happen, and it altered the game with the Nunu dying early and then the early invade and being absolutely read by the team.
Yeah, the early game, you can call them little early game misplays as well. Like you said, you know, the Cherry mid lane gank, which kind of didn't really pay off for them. Then the early invade as well, again, didn't pay off for them. And Nova is a team that, like, you know, if you don't get them behind and if you don't get them on the back foot, then Nova is just a team that, you know, they like playing these scaling comps. They've been playing the scaling comps every single time as well. And when you get to a point of the game, Nova are just like, okay, take us in a team fight. We will win every single team fight.
And they have. They have. And I'm waiting to see, where's Pan? Where's the Pan that is confident in his gameplay, can get these early game leads, given some resources to do something? Because remember, Nihen is filling in. This is the fill-in who has looked good, but mainly on Corki, and then gets Diana to the later part of the game and gets to style.
That was
like,
so clean.
If I'm Pan, I've got to be asking coach, please, give me something.
He had Zad. He had the Zad. He had the Jace.
But the thing is, though, is a Zed in the last game is like, who do you go on as a Zed in that last game?
Draft gap, honestly. Yeah, it is a bit of a
I think, you know, draft is such a big thing as well because J-Team has picked blue side every single time every single time they've lost, so the losing team always picks which side they're on, blue side or red side. J-Team has picked blue side every single time, and it's not really worked out for them. Now do they maybe try and find something new? Maybe they go onto the red side now?
I don't
go
think
for
that's
a different,
the answer. No,
different
I
game
don't think
plan,
that's the
maybe.
answer. I mean,
But then you're just losing on blue side every single time anyway.
Well, you're gonna
I feel
lose
like you
worse
have
on red
to.
side. I mean, the problem is you have no bans. You already have no bans. If you swap to red side, it's kind of gonna get worse. Honestly, we saw that last game as well. They had no bans on blue side even. It's just a really rough situation for J-Team. And honestly, it comes back to what you said as well. Jungle pool gap.
Yep.
You have forced to ban away so many junglers. They just need to ban Wukong.
I mean, we also saw in that third game, right? A lot of the top side champion pool was banned away, right? I feel like that put a lot of pressure on the top side, Don and Ise. I think Ise has a good chance to do decently in his matchup when he's just given standard laning. Right?
Да, солдат, это финал финала. Гранд-финал. Супер. Супер TI. Ультра. Финал. Я смотрел катку, но не на трансляции, а так. Моментами. Солдат, заходи, если что, на Трова, тут можно залутать скин. Здесь лежит. Если интересно, можешь зайти на Трова, посидеть там, сколько, 20 минут, по-моему, будет шанс выиграть скин. Да, Кристин? Ну, там же на Трова бокс есть. Бокс со скином. В боксы зайди, зарегистрируйся. Very minor loss regardless, was able to get away scot-free and build a really strong lead for the rest of his team. Now, I think that what needs to happen here is that J-Team just need to reprioritize, right? I think Barry DUI in the bot side is not going to be the answer for Yield.
I think it is. Maybe, I think it is.
They've tried 3 times. It's time to try something different.
They tried one time. They drafted the Lucian one time. I think
they drafted the Lucian one time. They went for the Senna as well, trying to go for the scaling on bot side as well.
Значит, у тебя стоит...
I want aggression from the bot side because
you're gonna lose anyway. You might as well lose with style.
В смысле нет бокса? Поставьте себе язык русский в раскладке приложения. Это из-за языка, не видите вы. У нас я поставил... Боксы видят только те, у которых стоит русский язык в настройках.
And that is something that we've kind of skimmed over as we said, oh yeah, J-Team lost the early game.
Язык интерфейса или, ну, короче, там должен быть, посмотрите, настройкался.
That Cherry was unable to help defend Barry from all the early game dives behind the turret, in between turrets.
Блин, напрягает эта хуйня, что не сделали.
0-4 Senna, who's like, okay, we're scaling. Like, no, you're very, very, very far behind. Like, this is not going to so that allowed then all the styling from Nova to get themselves the victory and really just kind of put the damage there to put looks like that on the base of
Пани, здравствуй. Вара, у тебя есть, да?
But that also feels like the mental state right now. Gotta get some sort of modicum of success.
Кристин, что ты сделала? Скажи. Ты поменяла язык? Я правильно сказал?
This is gonna take a monumental mental fortitude showing here from J-Team to get all the way back, to climb the mountain that is long.
I love that you raised the point about the mental as well. That's kind of why I thought that J-Team could take the series 4-2, but that's also why I said that if it could be a 4-0, because both of these teams are very momentum-based. You see it when they win games, they play so much more confident from game 1 to game 2.
Ну, как хочешь, солдат. Я тебе просто сказал, что есть такая возможность. Да, на телефоне можно в настройках поменять язык.
Everything's great with the players in our grand finals with the first ever Icons Global Championship title on the line and history to be made again as they said in the video.
Ну, сейчас я сделаю закрепленное сообщение, наверное, чтобы если люди заходят, чтобы знали об этом.
And right now, Long and the rest of his squad have 3 wins and almost 2 hands on the trophy.
Oh.
They have hands on the trophy.
More hands of J-Team right now. J-Team's still trying to warm them up. You know what it is? Yeah, it's just cold. Let's get the hand warmers going. If we're gonna pick a composition here for J-Team that is quintessential J-Team, and I'm gonna throw this one here to Omo because I feel like Omo has very strong opinions on draft. What do you want to see?
I think you have to keep the Lee pick. I think that's the pick that Cherry has been the most effective on. You could even say the only pick he's been effective on. And that means they have
русский с двумя, если что.
Yummy, whatever you want to call it. The Yummy, really. You have to get rid of that one for sure. And that's really such a tough situation to be in because you're on blue side betting Yumi, trying to draft Lee Sin. Digon, I wish I could give you a good answer here, but we're grasping at straws for J-Team. Strong bot lane plus Lee Sin. That's what I would say.
Закреплю после сообщения.
What do you got for me, Stuart?
I honestly think they should go to red side. I honestly think the red side could be a play. I think, you know, you're losing on blue side every single time anyway. I think if you go over to red side, then you have 2 picks compared to 1. Yes, you might have to ban out, you know, the Senna, the Yumi, you might have to ban out these enchanters, but honestly,
Да не, просто если будут люди заходить, чтобы они знали.
You know, first pick as well, that could be the difference, I feel like, in this draft.
All right, and then Analyst Grandin, where are we going with here? We pulled out the crazy assassin composition already.
Это хитрая.
And they lost.
And they lost.
Which was also within my expectations, right? There's a lot of pressure on these teams right now. There's a lot of pressure on J-Team, and there's also a lot of pressure on Nova, the closest one out.
Да, я сейчас буду постримим чемпионат мира, потом пойдем стримить Детройт игру. По игра-фильм интерактивная. Там, когда начну ее стримить, еще боксы сделаем. И ракету запущу. 4-0. Да, получается? Да.
Winning in lane, that's supposed to win lane, champions that not supposed to win lane. He has won lane in all 3 circumstances. And I feel like it's time to reward him for his consistency in these past 3 games and give him a champion that he's able to carry.
Бля, как он нервничает, да? Я думаю, я тоже там сидел бы, наверное, плотно весь. Прикиньте, одну игру выигрываешь, это чемпион мира, да? Да, получится 4-0, это победители.
Cherry going, hey, this is the lane I'm ganking now. Oh no, we're dead. It's like, I feel like it's more on Cherry right now to focus on that top side of the map and make something happen.
Well, Digon, when you get into the finals with your jungler being a Wukong one-trick, it can get a little bit rough.
No.
I don't think you can discredit Cherry like that. If it was as simple as batting away the Wukong, I feel like teams who have already done
Мы
that.
знаем, мы знаем.
You did say that quite a lot. I said that constantly, ban away the Wukong.
Yeah, he was begging Team Flash to ban the Wukong.
Unfortunately, I don't speak Vietnamese. I do speak Mandarin, so that's why Nova have been banning the Wukong.
So you've been giving them the secret tactics this whole time. Coach
yeah,
Omo.
I mean, it's pretty obvious, you know. You look at the playoffs, literally, I believe 7
Stallone.
something along that line. 80-90% of his games in the playoffs prior to today, Cherry has played Wukong.
Yeah. There was a lot of fear.
Почему у них разные футболки, я не понял. А, или это разные команды? А, да.
And Cherry on this total kill leader list with Long currently leading 1 away from being 100. And again, we just wanted to give you the perspective here. Xingdu as well had the opportunity to play in the play-ins.
Таблица
These guys had the
битс.
opportunity to play in the play-ins here, but RQ's Chaz as well at number 2. We got to see his Chazix over and over again, getting a ton of those kills, and the Lee Sin.
Yeah, I think it was like 20 kills or something.
Yeah, it's magnificent performances coming from Chaz. But what I'm taking away from these stats, from the 2 teams we have on the grand final stage right now, is that play-ins buff is just broken. It buffs your stats, it warms you up, it gives you experience. Let me play in play-ins. I'm going to lose the finals in my regional league legs here just to play play-ins.
I mean, that's the thing sometimes, is like, sometimes teams actually prefer to play in play-ins because, like you said, you get the warm-up, you get that, you kind of get rid of the stage nerves that you normally get during the group stage as well, and I think that's, you know, probably benefited, you know, teams like Nova and teams like J-Team, you know, they played in play-ins, they got a few comfort, you know, they won a few games. And that's, you know, that might be one of the reasons as well, you know. We're talking about the number 3 seed from China and also technically the number 5 seed
that's
from
crazy,
China as well, coming into these finals. You know, these are 2 teams that at the start of the year in the WRL in stage 1, they were the top 2. In stage 2, during Challenger, Nova was number 1 and J-Team were number 3. They just, you know, kind of choked really during playoffs, and they weren't able to, you know, get them top seeds.
I think that's a very interesting point. We literally have the grand finals teams from the WRL being the 2 lowest seeded teams coming into this.
Yeah,
that is true. That is true. And you're wondering, like, how did that happen? How did we get here? What happened to FPX? Both of these squads on stage here have shown the ability in that draft adaptation, execution, and times of pressure to close it on out. One thing that we haven't had a lot of, though, actually, we haven't had at all. No reverse sweeps. No one who's won the first game has lost a series. We haven't seen a lot of like battle backs here, but maybe this little bit of a break is going to do something here for J Team's execution. Right now, you know, the drafts still feel pretty difficult. Wukong is not going to be in the hands of Cherry.
I feel like Roasted Y has lost after winning the first game against one of the
but we don't count reverse sweeps and best of 3s. That's too easy. Has to be a best of 5 at least.
Sure. I guess if that's the metric that we're going by, only best of 5s, then yeah, I don't think we have had any, right?
Yeah, it's been pretty smooth sailing so far. I do want to point out a fun little stat while we have a bit of time. I wanted to bring this up in the pre-show, but I do want to point out, I think it's very important that you brought up Dawn. I do think that's a point that both teams should be trying to attack more.
Thank you.
Hang on, let me follow up with this, because I feel like both of these guys have proven their chops. Dawn, on his way to the grand finals, has taken Devil J, Ysera, and Shy. And his counterpart, Iza, on the way to the grand finals, has taken down Ysera as well, Shy as well, these two guys being a bit of a punching bag, Rutel and Fado. I feel like these are the best Baron laners in the world. Give them some resources.
And speaking of Baron lane, before this, Yize was the second most in terms of solo kills. And there's only 2 other players that have...
Stuart Stats! Stuart Stats!
Okay, so I have a question for you all.
Okay.
Who do you think... Okay, you can name one, or even try and name 2 if you want to. Who do you think is above Yize in terms of solo kills? So Yize has 6 solo kills. There's only 2 other players that are above him that have 6
солдат. Именно так.
I think Helios.
I think Chaz.
Give me Helios and...
No, you gotta pick one.
Ну нет, на самом деле нет, конечно.
So there's 2 above Yize that has 7.
They're both tied at 7.
But they both have 7.
Could we get a clue? Could I phone a friend?
Ну, просто на самом деле не хочется быть стримером именно одной игры. Я понимаю, что за счет этого аудитория будет медленнее набираться, какая-то отпадет. Но в итоге я думаю, что будет. Ну как бы VR я в любом случае буду играть. Я сейчас еще не придумал просто, как это сделать. Скорее всего, как-то в начале стрима буду играть в VR, либо в конце. Либо по разным дням, не знаю.
Are we just gonna run through like every Baron laner? It's like,
wait, guys,
okay, Ito.
Shy.
No.
What? Are there even any Baron laners left?
Not Rutel.
Rutel plays Garen every game.
I know.
He's not gonna solo kill anyone.
Not MTS.
From the WCK.
Oh, that makes sense. It's Maru.
No.
What? What? Oh, that makes sense. It's Jong on the side lane.
We got it.
We got it. Stuart even said from the WCK, and I still got it wrong.
I tried to give you as many hints as possible, but
whatever.
Yeah,
I got Lonely Kid. I called it before when Stuart prepped us like, hey, I'm going to ask you this question. No research done.
You did, yeah. Even though you were saying like sad kid, lonely person, you know, you're trying to figure out the name in your head, but yeah.
Can I say now, with that in mind, right, 7, most solo kills. Long has had 99 kills, and he's had less than 7 solo kills?
No, it's unfair. Junglers can never get solo kills.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. I think junglers just, in general, I think in terms of skirmishes in the early game, there's not really a lot of jungle 1v1s.
Someone always comes in and grabs it.
Yeah, exactly. There's always like a mid lane. There's always like a mid laner roaming, or the bot lane, or the Baron lane roaming. I don't think we ever have a situation really in Wild Rift where there's a jungle versus jungle matchup, especially in Scuttlecrab, because normally it's either a hyperscale jungle that likes to farm in the jungle, and then on the other side maybe have a jungler that likes to gank, take the early.
Ну что, давайте уже стартуем.
Yeah, there you go. Fun stats. Stats Stuart.
Stuart Stats. There it is. All of you Stuart stands in the chat. There you go.
Wait, is that boss music?
It is boss music. You hear it ready. The potential series-ending game.
Тапнул мастера.
Game number
Поздравляю.
ready to go here. Nova looking to pull out the brooms and get the sweep to become the first ever Icons global champions, or will J-Team begin the long march back to a reverse sweep? Let's find out.
And there you go. J-Team was right.
Молодец, молодец, Геральт.
You have to switch something up. You've lost on blue side every single time. Switch something up. And this is going to be
Мои поздравления.
how are J-Team going to adapt to being on the red side now? They don't have
Одно очко мастер.
but now they have 2 picks to counter the 1 instead.
I think what we learned from Game 3 is that J-Team either doesn't or won't play Yuumi. And because of that, the switch over to red side where you have to ban Yuumi anyway, I guess that could be the benefit here versus having to ban Yuumi on blue side, which is just a GG go next angle.
Сервис подтвердил.
Wukong being banned away every single time. I mean, like,
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, it's just
every
brilliant.
time.
There's the Jack, so removing more of that late game power from Nova, but we know that Long's champ pool.
Кстати, отчета еще даже не начиналось, да? А, ну получается, что? Получается, они хотят ввести новый сезон вместе с... Да, засчитают, конечно. Засчитают, мастер. Я тебя уже мастером называю, Геральт. Теперь мастер.
Once they got to that point, they were more than willing to go back towards a style that succeeded for them in the past, having a scaling option for Law in the jungle, being able to play aggressively from there, and then...
Не засчитают, если ты апнул его в последний день. Тогда не... А, нет, мастера засчитают, засчитают. Грандмастера не засчитают, если ты апнул в последний день. Последний день сезона грандмастера не засчитают.
So now it's like J-Team, they have 2 other picks. Do they potentially take away the Corki? Corki could be a one that you could take away. Oh, you just go Jace again. But now I just feel like Nova just go Corki here, and they're just like, okay. You know,
yet again is J-Team just tunnel visioning on the early game, right? Jace Lee said, "We'll secure your early game, but at what cost?"
Yeah, exactly.
Да может наоборот сейчас на винстрике апнешь.
To be honest, Pan had a great showing on the Jace in the first game. I think his damage, his pokes, pre-dragon fights, pre-skirmish setups was fantastic. It's just not enough to close out the game at the end.
All right, so Camille going to the top side of the map.
Show.
Yeah.
And there it is, the
Corki.
Corki.
Yeah, there's a Corki again. I think this is fine for Nova. Again, you're playing Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao's a very good champion into Lee Sin, into Jace. Loves to dive in, you know, Jace in melee form, Lee Sin as well, but also...
А, уже отчет пошел, да?
But again, the way that I see J-Team's comp is like, okay, we want to go in. Xin Zhao is...
В игре уже отчет пошел?
You just use your ultimate, you knock everyone away, and all that engage that you have from J-Team is basically negated.
The 2 big things I want to take note of in this draft right now is like, firstly...
Да, я в этом же сезоне грандмастера апал. За 2 дня где-то я с мастера вышел, за 2 дня до гейма дошел.
Sacrificing their top side of the map, just showing all 3 picks there, just to make sure that they would not get counterpicked by J-Team 4-5 from Red.
Да и в прошлом сезоне я тоже так же самое. Я на втором аккаунте. Ну да. Я в прошлом сезоне на втором своем аккаунте, которым я сейчас играю, я под конец сезона дошел, решил быстро апнуться, тоже там за пару дней с мастера до грандмастера дошел. И вот в последний день я апнул грандмастера, и мне его не засчитали. Из-за того, что обновление в 3 часа ночи было, и АГМ апается как раз ночью.
But I mean, from the picks that we do see already, I really love the idea that both teams are taking. The approach, it's cool. Both teams have good drafts.
We'll get an update to you with what is the status on draft right now, as it does look like we're in a holding pattern. And
Oh wow, Karma was one that I forgot about.
Wait, Karma is still up.
Yeah, I completely forgot. I mean, Karma is really a champion.
It's game 1 all over again.
I mean, it hasn't really had a lot of priority at all in this series, which is quite interesting because, you know, Karma for me is like more of a supportive champion. You can play her in the support role, but, you know, the WRL teams love to play her mid lane, love to play her in the dual lane as more of an AP carry as well. So now it's over to Remake. I feel like Remake just picked...
В этом сезоне, по-моему, вообще самое больше ПТСов, да? Максимально.
Rakan Ziggs is a really good combo. You use the quickness from Rakan, you use the Mega Inferno Bomb as well from Ziggs, and it's a really good combo. And Remake has performed really, really well in Ziggs, and there it is.
Ziggs is a checkmate angle right here. You look at the things that this secures for you, the combos that Nova have access to right now. Like you said, the Rakan Ziggs combo. You have the Cocky Ziggs Perma-Scale, Perma-Wave Clear combo. You have the Camille Ziggs, Hextech Ultimatum into Inferno Bomb, side lane on someone combo. There's just no play for Nova, for J-Team. I really love Nova's draft yet again.
And again, it's the Xin Zhao as well, because, you know, you think of J-Team, you know, they have opportunities to dive onto, you know, the Corki and the Ziggs, but then you have Xin Zhao. As long as Xin Zhao's next to them, disengage, really easy.
And I really love
Так, ну что у нас
how
тут?
Nova use Xin as a Olaf replacement. Olaf has been falling off in the meta.
Ничего необычного.
I love this adaptation from Nova.
And then the classic, if you're picking engage with Rakan, we'll pick disengage here with Gragas. It doesn't necessarily fit with the rest of the engage composition that you drafted in 1, 2, and 3, but they do have themselves an AP answer here.
But I think the good thing is that Gragas sometimes is used to isolate a target. You know, you can isolate a target. Yeah, you can isolate a target with the explosive cast, maybe the Ziggs, maybe the Corki as well.
All right, so with that just confirmed as well with League admins, Nova deciding not to ban.
They're just that cool. They are just that cool.
They were just like, we don't need a ban.
We don't need to ban Karma, one of the most banned champions in the game. We got it. You guys can take that one. We'll take our 2 picks here. Game number 4, and the first of possibly many match points, or maybe the only match point needed. Nova versus J-Team. Let's send it on over to Rafa, Riku, and TJ.
Well, Digon, this just could be the very last game of the Icon's first ever global championship.
And it is Nova's
В этой катке, Геральт, ставишь, я приму. Если в этой катке, не в общем, а в этой катке.
World champions in Wild Rift, and J-Team, as we get these cameras on them, are looking a little more dire. It's a little more depressing to look at their side of the stage because they, well, all the pressure is on them.
Yeah, this is do or die for J-Team, and meanwhile for Nova, we talked about that they're 1 game away from being the first
Подтверждаешь
global
свое?
champions. And if they do win this one in a 4-0 fashion, that's cementing them truly how dominant they are in the entire world.
FPX to get here. They took on the best opponents in the bracket. And they stand here not even looking phased so far. We were talking between games. Our biggest criticism of Nova so far this series has been that they
Рискованный.
too much fun. Last game, Neon was getting a little too aggressive.
Yeah, we saw even outside of the Rift, before the draft even started, we could see smiles from Nova. They were stretching. They were in a very good mood.
They got a 3-game buffer, man.
True.
But if Nova want to clinch
Yeah,
down this series, they need to tighten up for potentially the last game.
And if J-Team want to somehow come back in this, they have a game plan. It's get Cherry going early. Here he comes trying to steal away some jungle. And he is on vision. They will know about him.
And look at Long right now, rotating quickly. Even Neon, they want to get this collapse? No.
So the entire game plan for J-Team is to get Cherry an early lead. There's a lot of squishy characters over on Nova. If Cherry on the Lee Sin gets early gold, he can pass it around, get burst damage, win the game.
Yeah, DY tried to get back into the river, but out of position, not on the same sync up, but Dawn is forcing the flash.
Нова у нас слева.
Everyone is throwing hands at each other just because
Нас тут Геральт поставил все на кон. Все свое богатство.
Played on a knife's edge. J-Team win the skirmish. They're going to get both of these scuttle crabs. So a minor gold lead for their star carry in the early game.
And the fact that Cherry didn't even need flash.
Barry flashing forward. Gets the flash out of Remake. Can they punish here? Cherry is going to stay here. They can prep a dive.
Remember, he still has flash. He can make a play over here.
Looking for Yami. Yami doesn't have sums from the prior exchange. Cherry still has flash, as you called it out, Riku.
Смотрим.
J-Team forcing them temporarily off the turret, but they can't look for the dive.
But this is what map control, tempo control looks like. Because J-Team had enough.
Nian?
He'll be fine.
I think.
No! Nova! First blood for Nian!
Ну, first blood для Новы.
This is the mid lane that came in as a substitute for Nova, originally a Baron laner, and said, I can roll swap, I can fill in for the team.
And we saw his performance when they went up against truly just very stable, and the fact that again Pan held onto his flash.
Дружба — это то, что не нужно.
Trying to run away. Neon trusted his skill shots, and then he got that first blood for Nova.
And up against FPX, we
Не
saw
знаю, не знаю.
star player over on Nova get shut down, which meant that the game fell into the hands
В интернете, возможно, и...
Remake, who stepped up. Here in this series, it
И
has
да.
been a long show, all series long, so much so that long.
Да, мне кажется, какая разница.
Of being the first and only player in our international history to hit 100 kills in a single tournament. He's at 99, Mark.
And it feels like
Смотря что вкладывает в это слово.
crazy when it comes to his champion pool. A lot, he is unchallenged not only right now as we look at it, not only his champion pool, his performance, his consistency, and it's just everything. Always at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it's that rotation. Here we go.
Like now.
DY doesn't have flash anymore. They punish on it. Remake finds the kill.
Stays at 99 kills. Remake able to find one, which will get more badly needed gold onto the key carry, the Ziggs of Nova Esports.
Barry looking for the collapse on Along, forcing the flash out of him. He's got Cherry in his back pocket alongside Pan. They force him away from the river.
Really good signs of life from J-Team here as they bring the entire team to bear on a Rift Scuttler, maintaining control of the Rift as these Drakes come up.
I think the biggest difference is that, yeah, Cherry's still lingering around this corner, hunting for Long's head.
Do it, do it.
Will he?
Oh!
Деятелями культуры? У меня есть такой круг общения.
Maintain control of their side of the jungle, but don't have any extended control of our next objective. 17 seconds away from Rift Herald and Dragon. And J-Team do have the burst damage early on to win this fight, if only they can coordinate well enough.
And it all boils down to Cherry again, building up Yomu's Ghost Blade, wanting to get that damage in. Rift Herald.
Нет, они до БО7, 7 игр максимально.
They're starting Rift Herald up in the top side. Neon dueling down bottom for a kill.
He's about to package forward here, but the rest of the 4v4 is on the other side of the map. It is the
Это Кристина про тебя говорила?
Cherry with the dragon strike by the two-man knockup. Long is taken out by Barry, and the rest of J-Team have the damage to secure the first. No! Wait! Who got the Rift Herald? DY secures it, but Remake gets a revenge kill onto Cherry.
It might continue this though, we'll see. No, not enough range, too risky, but Remake kills Cherry.
Pan chasing forward here versus Neon. Cherry lives into the second half of that fight on maybe 1 HP.
Ну по счету ты посмотри, по фарму одинаково идут. 3-1 счет, а по фарму идут одинаково.
Look at Cherry right here. 1 HP, the shielding keeps him up, and then he just steps a little bit too far forward. And Remake says, yoink.
Yeah, really sneaky.
Bomb clips him, man. And now the rest of J-Team, there's still a dragon to fight over here.
Yeah, J-Team in control of a game for kind of the first time in a while. Slightly behind in gold, but they do have the Rift Herald in their pockets. That should give them the leverage necessary to fight for this dragon.
And I think it's a really good sign for J-Team. Imagine they're 0-3, by the way, in this series. And looking at how they've been playing so far, very aggressive. Look at Cherry finding these flanks, finding these kills.
The big target here is Remake. If Cherry can find a way to shut down Remake, that's kind of the first item on the agenda. He's gotten a lot of gold early, and he can do the most damage in this game by a mile.
Remember, Dawn is not here, 4v5.
Itse on to the aggressive. Going forward with a hook shot, forcing DY to body slam over the wall.
Our fight resets here. J-Team backing away, scared of the Nova engage. They need to find one through their burst damage. Use Cherry to start the fight. Pick off key targets.
Pan gets a little bit of burst damage down on a Neon.
Rift
It's
Herald
Yami
in
forward. Mega Inferno Bomb. That's the 100th kill of the game for Long. And Nova Esports can continue the pressure. Itse has got Barry and the rest of J-Team wrangled up here in the blue buff jungle.
100 kills this tournament to Long, and maybe a dragon to their name.
They're still pretty much healthy at this point to keep going. Look at Neon. He wants Cherry's head.
Yeah, Cherry was pushing in the mid lane, gets the Rift Herald unlocked for the mid turret, but gets singled out and forced away by Neon. That ensures that the dragon will go over.
Так смотри, Геральт, ты замечаешь вообще, что счет Киллы идут, а счет не особо-то и меняется по деньгам. Но сейчас они начинают вырываться. Вот 5 смертей, да, грубо говоря, одна выше. Грубо говоря.
Weirdly enough, the gold at the end of all of that nonsense is dead even despite Nova cleaning up the fight. A whole lot of gold goes on to DY as the mid turret falls. That brings his support character almost 1,000 gold ahead.
Oh, Dawn, I don't know if you want this. Here comes Yami once again. The grand entrance knockup. It's going to force the Blade of the Exile out of Dawn. He's got back up here. Barry fishing for poke.
Они Геральда еще не выпустили или что?
DY body slam, explosive cast right onto Nova's heart and core. Can they get the damage down? Pan finds it onto Long, shuts down the jungler for Nova.
Ну я, получается, за GT болею сейчас, да?
No summoner spells, and it is Barry and Cherry with the cleanest dive. The turret juggling by J-Team, the way that they maneuver, the way that push and pull.
Неплохо, неплохо.
He's fine. He's gonna be A-okay.
He's all right.
He's okay. He's all right. But this is the way that you really should play. J-Team is doing everything right. We're looking at Nova's composition, still at the scale in 50 minutes onwards, and now they're taking advantage of that window.
Yeah, we are seeing the aggression we've been missing, and it is worthy of this Coca-Cola pop-off play. As look at this dive, looks so scary, but Remake is the instant focus. The way that Cherry immediately refocuses as the Mega Inferno Bomb comes in, they use Barry's shielding to amp up the attack, and they find key kills heading into this second Rift Herald fight.
It's absolutely scary. Remember, the push and pull. Package from Neon separates members. It looks like they've already isolated one onto J-Team Barry. Can they collapse? Can they reorganize? But the rest of Remake has to get out because he was singled by J-Team's front line. And now the reset on the Rift Herald. Yeah, both 80 carries, Remake, Barry are low. They have to go back. They have to reset. Not committing just yet. Vision-wise, it's still pretty good for both of these teams. And again, the Barry almost died there. DY saved him.
So things to watch as this fight continues. Remake doing massive damage, doesn't have Mega Inferno Bomb yet, but will again. Also, Neon doing really well in this game. Will have a lot of gold. It's down to Cherry in particular to find those kills.
Cherry forced the flash there. But then another fight on the right side. Barry's been picked off.
Карму приняли.
And now Nova can collapse. They have the numbers advantage.
Here comes J-Team. This is the burn on the Rift Herald.
Cherry, can he get in? He has vision, but he can't see the objective. Long secures it one.
Подожди, это уже второй, да? А, да. Второй Геральт.
The target prioritization of Nova, they're able to get very
Фляшные комментаторы.
And again, Nova doing everything right.
Rift Herald in the top side as Nova continue to press forward, continue to do
Навыков комментирования у меня еще мало. Так, смотрите. Ну, уже по деньгам вырываются они, считай, на 2000, да? Геральт, получается, твоя ставка пока работает. По вышкам 1-2. У нас по деньгам. Камила самая богатая на карте. Почему Камилу не забанили, опять же, да? Финал, все, решающая катка. Они отдают персонажа, у которого самый большой винрейт в игре. В чемпионате.
And imagine what TJ said. It's just a Ludens. He's even building a tier, which means he's expecting this to go through the long haul. He's expecting that Cherry, Pan, and Dawn are going to be constantly eyeing for an opportunity to eliminate him.
DY finding the body slam onto Long. I don't know if you want to tangle with this warrior.
Грага загулял.
And Yami is able to tangle that into a two-man knock of the rest of J-Team. Have to find a way, but here comes Neon with the pack.
Ну, короче, они красные уже в тильте. Зачем было там включать стазис уже, да? Бля, 4-0 что ли будет? Серьезно? В финале 4-0. Жестко, жестко.
They're not a name that League of Legends fans will have known, but they're a name mobile esports fans will have known. And here in Wild Rift, they are stepping up, moments away from closing out this game and winning their first ever World Championship.
We're heading into 14 minutes of the game.
Да, Геральт обогатился, получается. Ну, еще рано, конечно, говорить о чем-то, но все идет к 4-0.
It's perfect. They know exactly who to focus, and every time JC make one of these mistakes where they step a little bit too far forward. We have it from Dawn, we have it there from DY.
Ну, они уже тильтанули, реально. Они чувствуются психологически. У них там уже, глянь, уже сколько? 6000 отставания.
Nova took the entire front half of that battle without spending anything, had everything still up for the second half.
Они в моменте реализовывают.
Cherry was trying to link off of Yami and find Remake with a kick flash, could not get in range, clutch exhaust.
Yeah, instantly used the exhaust.
Да, да.
Not having any of Cherry.
Ну, странно, они же сами знают эту статистику, да? Мы смотрели статистику. Есть самый, грубо говоря, самый сильный персонаж на чемпионате, да? Вы либо его берите, либо баньте. Бред какой-то, по-моему.
And this entire time, Long was cleaning out the top side of the map, took away a whole bunch of jungle farm, and set up vision. With the Baron on the map, J-Team have to know they are playing with their tournament lives on the line. One team fight loss could eliminate them from icons and crown Nova.
После турнира? Ну да. Азарт появляется. Он там сильно врывается. Ебать! Вы видели этот урон от Камилы? Жестко, жестко вообще.
Baron is up. Turrets are falling in the bottom lane. Here in mid, Nova have almost done it.
Yeah, J-Team losing a lot of map control right now is very risky for them to walk forward with the map state right now, or else it might snowball into Nova ending this game.
Не, Камила по Джису въебала ему, пол хп стычки снесла почти.
Against the trophy on this stage as they look for one more good fight. They have an 8,000 gold lead. They have a scaling composition. And the only thing they need to do now is not screw it up.
And bide their time for the Elder Dragon to spawn. Nova can play the slow and patient game. Wait for J-Team to come forward. It is on them to make moves, and it's on Nova to punish.
And the only thing Nova needs to do is keep bullying J-Team, keep taking away their jungle, keep
Камилу? Ну, блять, на чемпионатах она сильная, а в солоку как будто что-то не хватает здесь. Ну, получается, да. Да. Ебать, там Грага зря умирает от... Ну, Порки что подынтил уже. Уже хочет сильно выиграть. Это, кстати, может аукнуть. 10 тысяч, конечно, трудно, но можно преодолеть. Но не в этой игре. Битва саппортов. Yes. Ну что, Нова становится чемпионом мира. По League of Legends Wild Rift. Ебанарёс. Салют, дела. Ну слабенький какой-то, пукнул чисто и все. Так, ну и что ты, получается, там выиграл? Первый. В 2 раза больше, да? Жучара, жучара.
It did not stop them at all.
12,600. Да. Приболтал, получается. Не, ну все честно. Я думал, что будет реально хотя бы одна катка за этим. Бля, ну 4-0 финал, это жестко. Ну да, да. Честь финальщика можно было. Блин, ну неэффектно, если бы были бы зрители там, да? Было вообще охуенно. Когда они уже сделают со зрителями чемпионат? Слабый, но второе место, как сказать. Кому они машут? Спонсор попал. Да я не выключаю, не выключаю. Да я понял, что это его.
Wogo can't make it to the tournament. That dynamic is shattered, and Neon has to step up, be the mid laner.
Подрочили пиво.
The rest of Nova adapt. They fit the playstyle. He steps up, but of course Long, one of the greatest players we have ever seen.
Она так удивилась, как будто увидела там не игру что-то, а что-то большое.
Where we see him being constantly targeted, the rest of the Nova squad steps up.
Да, самая интересная была первая катка, которую я не стримил. А что, им медальки какие-то будут вешать или что? Да, конечно, эмоции. Еще бы. 600 тысяч выиграть на 5. Ну, кстати, Кристина, она здесь многим нравилась. Когда комментировали, ну, когда смотрели чемпионат мира в начале, многие о ней крайне положительно отзывались.
Awesome. And the man himself, Long, we've been saying it for a while, but it is confirmed now. How do you feel being the best jungler in the world? And will you start practicing more?
OK， 那他想问到的是，其实我们之前很多人都有在讨论嘛，那个龙选手呢是目前世界上最好的打野，你自己怎么看待这个称呼？然后你觉得在未来你有需要去进步的地方吗？
我觉得现在我可以算是趟最强打野了吧，然后以后的话就慢慢加油吧，朝着更强的一步进军吧。
Okay, indeed now I can see that I'm the best jungler from the world. I'm the top level jungler, and I hope I can make more improvement in the future in the Wild Rift esports.
Now, Neon, you were originally a Baron laner, and how did it feel coming into the first global championship for Wild Rift, playing a different role with such little time?
下一个问题想问一下年选手，因为你之前其实是单人度的选手嘛，然后这次在很短的这个时间之内来到了 Icons 的舞台，并且去打了一条不一样的线路，换到了中路，然后这对于你来说的话有什么样的意义吗？
Так мы же пойдем играть в Детройт. Я же говорил.
我应该就是不太适合吧。后面就跟队伍磨合多了之后，我觉得是我的队友成全了我，给了我一个打中路的机会，所以发挥才会就比较稳定吧。
At the first of the beginning, I thought I'm not suitable for the mid laner. Maybe I thought it gonna be
Ну,
like
солдат.
for me
Это
to
да.
substitute for this status. But however, our teammate just
Я просто не помню, за кого вы говорите. Вы говорите, которая в белом или которая в черном? О какой именно вы говорите?
Now, Remake, you are a very interesting person. You are probably the most hard-working person here because everybody had a break, everybody got to see the city, but you chose to spend your free time actually still practicing even more. That's very selfless. That's a lot of sacrifice. So what do you think was the biggest thing you had to sacrifice for Icons?
下一个问题想要问到 Remake，我听说你是这次 Icons 最勤奋的选手之一，因为在大家可能都在有一些休息啊，或者说是想要去看一看新加坡这个城市的时候呢，你一直都在坚持训练。
Да, я понял.
想问一下，你觉得这次 Icons 当中你牺牲最多的是什么呢？
Смысл понял.
没声音。
喂，好了，我觉得没有什么牺牲了，因为当得到胜利的这一刻，就所有东西都不重要了。我觉得
Ну, то все получается.
感谢我自己。
I don't think I sacrificed a lot, because all my effort was
Не знаю, что. Будем смотреть это еще или нет?
Wow, it's all worth it.
Переводить я не могу.
The rest they laugh. The rest they laugh when I said Remake was very, very
Недавно покупал грудин.
No breaks as well.
Какого размера?
And Yami, you were not just the best support in the world, but I hear that you were also a very, very good support in real life because you shouldered responsibility for the team. Where do you draw your strength from?
想要问一下 Yami， 因为其实知道你在团队当中就是被大家做了很多的贡献和支持。
Такс. Ну что? Да. Сейчас я сделаю боксы новые. Надо переименовать стрим, боксы сделать. Добавить другую категорию, перенести стрим. Там мы залетим с боксами. Да. 50. Не, это потом. Сейчас перед самой игрой надо будет. Так, не, давайте сначала я поменяю название стрима. Так, у нас еще сегодня розыгрыш будет же еженедельный, потом Геральду надо накинуть. Как он готовит, да? Так, поменяли. Название стрима надо поменять на Ютубе. На Ютубе вообще надо заново запустить трансляцию. Солдаты там? Что? Если ты будешь смотреть Детройт с нами, сейчас перезайти надо будет, я перезапущу стрим, чтобы он выделялся, я потом просто, может, прохождение как бы игры сделаю видос.